Hello, and welcome to my senior project. Today, you are going to be learning a lot about knitting. You're going to learn about the history of knitting, as well as many of the aspects of how knitting is a stress reliever, a pain reliever, and can be a source of calm and happiness. Let's get started. You can knit sitting at your desk at home. You can even knit laying down at the bottom bunk of your bunk bed. Or you can even do it sitting at the top bunk of your bunk bed. You can knit sitting on the couch with your brother and dog while your dog's eating his food. You can even do it at night while laying down right before bed. And you can even knit at the beach, sitting in a chair in the sun. During the Civil War, soldiers wore machine-knit socks, which would wear out pretty quickly, leaving the soldiers' feet in bad condition. This emphasized the importance for hand-knitted socks to avoid trench foot in World War I, where soldiers would sit in wet, cold trenches. During World War I, it was frowned upon to knit for personal use, and women were told to knit clothing for soldiers. Not only did the hand-knit socks outlast the machine-knit socks, but it also costed the military nothing. After the Civil War, women organized sewing bees to create quilts and other goods whose sales supported the reformist causes. Women often knitted political messages into their quilts or banners to express their support for the reformist movements during that time. Eleanor Roosevelt was often photographed knitting for the war effort, or at least with her knitting bag. She was the one who essentially began the World War II knitting effort during a Knit for Defense tea. Okay, wait. At this point, some people may be thinking that women are just emphasizing the stereotype that only women knit and do these kinds of things. However, men did knit during this time. But knitting was the way for women to get their voices heard politically during this time, because at this time of after World War II, women did not have many rights and were not respected in the way that they are now. So knitting was their way of getting their voices heard and supporting reformist movements for women's suffrage and women's rights. Thank you. Knitting improves stress, similar to mindfulness, and there's proven to be a strong connection between knitting and feelings of calm and happiness. Knitting can replace bad habits such as smoking and foul language and add extra relaxation. See, I also have a bad habit of going on my phone a lot and overusing it, just like in the bad habits picture you just saw. And you can ask anyone in my family. But knitting has actually helped to relax me and has stopped me from overusing my phone. For example, when I go on the beach, instead of using my phone, I've been knitting instead, and it actually helps me relax a lot more, along with just being in the beach environment. A 2013 survey of more than 3,500 knitters worldwide found that 81.5% of respondents rated themselves as feeling happier after knitting. Many people who were taught to knit to treat their illnesses, physical and mental, reported that when they completed a knitting task, they felt a sense of accomplishment. Nowadays, there are many ways to knit for charity, and many studies show that giving back to the community supports mental health and can help with feelings of depression and loneliness. There are many psychological elements to knitting, especially when it comes to pain relief. Pain doesn't originate in the spot where you feel it, but actually in your brain when it interprets signals from other parts of your body, but your brain can't concentrate on two compelling activities at the same time. This is why knitting is so beneficial, and one study proved knitting offers both physical relief and social support, which significantly helps reduce feelings and effects of chronic pain. In addition, As we spend more of our time than ever online, communicating, working, shopping, and playing virtually, knitting offers something so many of us are deficient in, a connection to the here and now. The rhythmic, repetitive movements of knitting seem to put us in the present moment, distracting us from mulling over the past or fear of the future. See, I've noticed in myself when I'm knitting that I tend to not focus on anything else, and I just focus on what I'm knitting and kind of just teaching myself through the process and everything because it's all new to me. So it's actually been really nice to just focus on one thing at a time and not have to worry about everything else and just kind of relax and be in that moment and just knit for fun. In addition, it has been proven that staying occupied is good for one's health, especially when it involves social interaction. To emphasize my last point about how staying occupied is beneficial for one's health, I think that emphasizes the senior project and what it's all about, because it allows us to occupy ourselves with something new. For me, it was teaching myself how to knit, which I think has been really beneficial for me because, for one, I'm pretty sure I mentioned this before, where I don't go on my phone as much, and I think that has definitely benefited my health, and that's made me more motivated to do other things as well. So I think I can speak for everyone when I say, or most people, when I say that the senior project has been really helpful for me, and I think it's a really good way to end one's senior year by learning something new before we all go our separate ways. So, thank you. Teaching myself how to knit has been a very fun experience, and I hope through this video that you learned a little bit more about knitting and maybe you're even inspired to start knitting yourself. Thank you for signing off on my idea to start knitting because I think it's been really beneficial to my overall well-being. With that, I guess I can say that I've graduated English class through my submission of this senior project. Thank you!